everyone, and welcome to the LGBTQIA+ Streamers and Online Inclusivity panel, powered by NYX Professional Makeup. My name is Psyche. Thank you all for being here. I'm joined by these wonderful panelists. Dona is a little bit late, but will be joining us soon. So we have Biggest Bennis, Dona Tart, who will be coming along shortly, Ready Set Ben, Ebonics, and Passion's Planet. So this is what we have for you today. We're going to go through the highs and lows of being an LGBTQIA+ content creator, protecting yourself from targeted hate, how non-LGBTQIA+ creators can create safe spaces, the importance of representation, a message to your past self, and building a safe community for all. And then we will open up to some Q&A from the audience. So let's get into introductions. If you all could do me a favor and tell me a little bit about yourselves and what you do on Twitch.
Hi, I'm Biggest Bennis. I am a variety streamer and podcaster, and yeah, I kind of played a lot of Animal Crossing during the lockdown, and now I do everything. Play anything.
Thank you.
Oh,
I was going to say, why aren't you clapping? That's incredibly rude. Hi, I'm Ben, or Ready Set Ben. Black, queer, obviously black, visibly queer. Twitch ambassador, Dead by Daylight, all that typical stuff that I usually chat on stream. Welcome, first and foremost. It's nice to see a good turnout. Just to preface, we won't be talking about Minecraft today. If you know, you know. So hi, that's me.
Hello, I'm Passion, otherwise known as Passion's Planet, trans Y2K variety streamer on Twitch. I'm also a DJ, an artist. I'm pretty much uncategorized, and I just do anything and everything whenever I want to. So that's pretty much me.
Hell yeah.
Hey, y'all.
Oh, no.
Pronouns, that girl. Hi, everyone. My name is Ebonics, or Danny to my friends, never Danielle, because I feel like I'm in trouble. I'm a Twitch ambassador, and I'm pretty much what people call like the Beyonce of Sims. I hate to say it, but so I spent a lot of time teaching myself how to make inclusive mods for Black Simmers so that we could see ourselves in the game. And so now I'm kind of like transitioning away from just Sims to kind of making games in general more inclusive. So whilst I kind of do that on Twitch, I just also play games very badly. But you know, it's cute, and we just like to have vibes, good vibes and fun.
And I should probably introduce myself. My name is Psyche. I am an ambassador, and I'm shy, I'm bi, and I like games that make me cry. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you all very much. So I'm going to ask you all to talk a little bit about the beginning of your streaming journey. How did you get started, and how have things changed for you throughout the years on Twitch?
shall I go first?
Go for it.
Okay, I'll go first again. Well, I started back in 2016, so way before like affiliates and everything like that was happening. And I remember starting and thought, you know, my sexuality is something that I was not going to focus on, and I wasn't going to put that even because tags weren't a thing. I mean, they had communities, if anyone remembers those, and
I miss those.
Various other things that they've tried. And I just, was like, oh no, I'm just going to play games, and that's going to be my thing. And then over the years, I realized, especially joining Stream Team Rainbow Arcade, I realized that actually being out and on and streaming as an out gay content creator can actually, it shows that it's a safe place for people. And if people are there and they're in the stream and they see that someone is gay that's streaming, that it can actually, they know that they're represented. And it's going to be a safe place where many streams, unfortunately, aren't. How are you?
No, just to echo what Ben said, like I started, I think, in 2017, and I wasn't really taking it seriously because, you know, double whammy, black and queer. It was really hard to fit in anywhere at the time, and with all the stuff that we've all experienced over the last couple of years, the hate raids and all that, we were targets. And I think what I'm incredibly sort of proud of, just like obviously scooting forward many, many years, being part of the Rainbow Arcade, a queer Twitch team, and now with Black Twitch UK, you feel like a guardian. You feel like you can, if you can inspire somebody to stay on Twitch, be around, be themselves, be unapologetic for themselves. There's literally what's this saying? Something's limitless. Help me.
I'm not an English teacher anymore.
Vibes.
I left that.
Anyway, listen, if you're going to stream on Twitch, you've got to make it as inclusive as possible. It's all great that we're LGBTQIA2+. There's still some exclusivity between us all, but it's getting better. I think reaching out to your queer brethren, your chosen family, your extended family.
Yeah, we've got triple whammy, actually, because we're Northern.
Right, Northern.
Yeah, nobody understands.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Fine. Ruined my day.
And what about you, Passions?
Honestly, for me, the way I like to see things now is that I'm creating almost like a bar. And thanks to my friend Miles, who's kind of influenced me to kind of see it as that. It's one of those things that I just see it as a environment for people to just hang out, and if they want to drink along while I'm having a little drinky poo on stream, they can do that. And if they just want to hang out in like a social environment with a lot of queer people, they can also do that too. And it's just nice to kind of not have people come in for my professionalism of playing games good, and more for the sake of just wanting to come in and just hang in and just taking it easy and sexy and cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A word.
My merch, still not yours.
So I think I started streaming properly on Twitch around 2019. So my friend Mira, that's my good sis, she started streaming and I was like, oh, cool, this is cute, playing Sims live. I mean, whoever does that? What the hell is that? And obviously Sims being quite like a single player, just kind of to yourself, cozy game. I did want to kind of step out of just making content for The Sims and actually connecting with my community that I'd built up, because I've been making Sims content from about 2015. So 2017, I just wanted to dabble, chat to the people, see what's good, and then left it to the wayside because life was lifing. So 2019, I started streaming properly, I think around November, and we got partnered, I think within like 3 months. We went to Twitch HQ, we got partnered, it was a vibe. First black woman in the UK to be partnered. Further down the line, thanks y'all. Further down the line, became a Twitch ambassador. And that in itself was, again, another big piece of like representation just for a black woman on the platform. Like, we just didn't see ourselves. And then the gay awakening happened, and then it was great. It was great. I think streaming on Twitch actually really allowed me to find myself in way more ways than I could have ever imagined. And then 2020, Miss Kiki Cassie and I co-founded Black Twitch UK in the bid. Thanks, y'all.
She looks like she's a sinner.
She's right there.
She ain't paid attention.
Cover with her glasses.
Sit you right there.
Keep Donna's seat warm.
And that was just in a bid to highlight more black creators on the platform who were from the UK, because we just couldn't find each other. We couldn't see people who looked like us streaming on more than like what our two hands. So I mean, the journey's been a long road. It's been a struggle, huh? It's been a struggle. You were talking like triple whammy. So talking about black, queer, a woman from South London.
I think you should have started with that one.
So yeah, it's been a journey, but things have definitely changed, and I do see that there's opportunities, like more opportunities coming, but yeah, we've still got
It's getting better, but it could be better.
Yeah.
And I think just to round off it, I guess, I think we all take everybody in this room, whether it doesn't matter who you are or what you represent, as long as you're doing it properly, because you open doors for people without even realizing it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Can I just ask, this is not on our presentation, but I'm just curious, how many people in the room here are not LGBTQIA+, but are interested in making their spaces safer?
You will be asked to leave.
Amazing. We love to see it. Thank you.
Yes, to y'all.
Thank you.
You'll get extra next products from you.
We remember you.
I'm not promising that. I'm so sorry.
So we're going to talk about the highs and lows of being an LGBTQIA+ content creator or also community member. So let's just move through to the next slide. So for everyone on the panel, can I just ask you to share a bit about the importance of online communities to you as an LGBTQIA plus creator, be it like Twitch teams or just people that you've met through streaming?
You can go first this time.
I think I've referenced this before. I can using Rainbow Arcade as as a starting point. I know it died off a little bit, but it's had a resurgence. Rainbow Arcade is a collective of queer people from all walks of life, and I believe with this new breath of fresh air that's been brought about with the new application processes and all the new members, it's new representation, it's new faces, it's making people feel comfortable. We did a marathon, not mistaken. Recently we did a marathon where it was back-to-back queer people, where you could just go in, chill, feel safe, and hopefully, I would love to see more of that. I would love to see more of it being featured, because it's not. And no disrespect, Twitch, but you can't put us at the bottom of the show, you know, so Pride Month.
Yeah.
Pride Month. No, but it's incredibly important to us. I do appreciate the fact that we've got this platform, and I just hope that, like I said before, every queer person shouldn't feel unsafe
100%.
in our space. We curate this. It's ours. Make the most of it, baby.
Absolutely. It's just important for people to just feel like they can be themselves.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, you just want to be able to show up and be you, like the most authentic version of you as well. And I think in curating really safe spaces for your LGBTQIA viewers and yourself is the best opportunity for you to just flourish in who you are and allow others to also feel discovered in themselves. Because a lot of people, I think especially during lockdown, I feel like a lot of people did actually, because they were, stuck at, we were stuck at home, we was imprisoned, we was in prison at home. And we didn't really have much other than to think about life. And I think a lot of people did actually come into themselves and became really aware of their, they became aware of it,
Trying to say COVID made you gay. Please.
We was running with the LGBTQ, the crew, man. So, yeah, I think it's just so important just to be able to show up as your most authentic version of yourself.
Definitely.
Do you know what was really cute about I know it's like a bittersweet thing with the pandemic. I'll never forget when we had Pride Month, and if none of you were watching me that time, I'm taking your cards. We held a Pride Month, a Pride Parade in Animal Crossing when that was the big thing.
Yeah.
And that was one of the best things I've ever done. Like, I logged off the stream and I cried a little because I was in my feelings. But doing like a little, it was awkward as heck trying to get everybody down there. But walking down the street in different rainbow outfits, it took me hours to decorate. But I would love to do that again, just under different circumstances. But we'll never get that magic back, because Animal Crossing sucks now.
Yeah.
It does.
We've all finished it. Yeah, but I think naturally people do flock. It's still cool. It is. I still need to get through that DLC. It's long. But I think people just naturally flock together when they've got things in common, and whether it's Minecraft or whether it's, whatever, just naturally people will group together, and being part of the LGBTQIA plus community, we're going to naturally come together because we've got shared experiences and shared Twitch experiences. We've all been hate raided, we've all been attacked for who we are on stream, so having a community where you can let all that out, and people go, yeah, that happened to me as well. This is how I dealt with it. It's just a really nice place to be.
It's a shame that it became a bonding experience in some capacity as well.
I know.
Yeah.
I think I met more queer people through that when it was happening, and it was a very difficult time being hate rated.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful because weirdly enough, because I got to meet so many fantastic people. Yeah. Made me stronger as a queer person.
We have each other.
I don't know you.
No matter what. And Passion, do you have any thoughts on the importance of online communities to you as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's the most crucial part of what I do. I think every year for Pride, I try to create my own little Pride Month extravaganza at the end of the month, and I try to get together as many drag queens and drag artists and DJs and just try to post basically what a Pride show would be for people to attend who can't otherwise do that because of countries, restrictions, being closeted, anything. And I think with the platform, you can do so much that you don't realize that you can do. You can host your own gig, you can get people involved, you can do whatever the hell you want to do because it's so open to just explore. It's not reduced to just games. You can make a space for people to feel represented in the way that you want them to. And I think that helped me a lot as well when it came to my own identity, is that I wouldn't have been able to, I think maybe this is a stretch, but maybe like wouldn't feel so comfortable with my transition if I wasn't publicly presenting myself and seeing myself every time I streamed, like 3 times a week. So I think community is a crucial part to just like knowing your craft and knowing yourself and knowing everything that you do on it.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing, everybody. So can you share a highlight of your Twitch journey that has helped celebrate queer joy? Any kind of memories that you have that are super positive? Because we are going to talk a little bit about like the more difficult side of being an LGBTQIA plus creator, but we do want to kind of celebrate the highlights as well.
I think mainly in my Discord, a lot of people in the community on the Discord, a lot of them have actually discovered their sexuality through talking to people there. Like there's been many people, especially like people, I won't say not saying later in life, and that's a bit rude, but like people over the age of 40, sorry.
The elders.
I know, I'm going to be cancelled now. But like discovering that they're ace or discovering that they're bi, and these feelings that maybe in their communities that they've grown up in, they've not been able to explore this and been able to experience and like encounter people who are similar. And yeah, they've been chatting with all the people in my community and then gone, wait, actually, these feelings, yeah, this means this tag applies to me, and they want to label themselves and they feel comfortable with that, and it allows them to express themselves a lot more. So that's definitely been a highlight.
For sure.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet, I think, and it's going to sound really cliche, but I think every opportunity, every stream, or every social post is an opportunity to celebrate queer joy. More than anything, I was really quite sheltered before I started streaming on Twitch. I didn't know much about what the acronyms were, or different demographics, sometimes even kinks. We won't get into that. But the conversations that I've had with everybody is so enlightening that it's joyful to people to share experiences, because I learned more about myself. I've been through the whole gay, pans, ace, all that. I've been trying to figure myself out. That brings joy to me, because being queer in general is a journey, regardless of what platform it's on. And as long as it's constructive, it should bring joy.
I think you'll all agree that like it's a journey that's always moving and there's things changing, because you discover yourself. And I think for me as a streamer, I've discovered myself a lot through connecting with people on Twitch and through my community, through the teams that I've been a part of. It's been something that you kind of learn about yourself. It gives, as you were saying, Ben, it gives an opportunity for other people within your community to also discover something about themselves. And I think that's really powerful.
Absolutely. I think one of my most favorite queer joy memories, I think, was when I got a group of makeup babes who really loved makeup to do a fundraiser with me for the Trans Women of Color Collective. And I think that was the first time that I kind of did fundraising for a kind of queer specific charity. And just in that, I felt, one, like super empowered that I think that was also the year that I was like openly like a pan baby, and I was like, so to kind of like statement this transition into understanding my sexuality, I really want to do something that will help members of the community that I'm now very proudly part of. And yeah, like it was amazing. We had like quite a few sponsors, and we all just did makeup, and it was a beautiful experience. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'll cherish for a really long time. It was a great year.
Amazing.
I'll keep it short and sweet as well. I would say, other than my yearly Pride show, I would say the transition from twink to trans. That's the milestone. That's it.
I wasn't expecting that from you, off guard.
I mean, that's queer joy, right? Amazing. All right, so a little bit trickier, but let's talk about some of the challenges that LGBTQIA plus streamers face, because we all know we've kind of touched on them a little bit. There's a wide range of different things. What kinds of challenges have you personally faced or have you seen in your time on Twitch?
This would have been a time I should have had the list, you know?
Yeah, we just have like
rolls down.
And this is the rest of the
rolls
panel.
down the corridor. Boy.
I'm sure if you look in the chat right now, there's probably a few people going, yeah.
Pulling it from the depths. I'll start with this one. I absolutely despise being tokenized as a queer person. I hate filling gaps, and like I've said, I'm black and queer, so that's a box tick for a lot of brands, a lot of companies that will take advantage of me because of that. It's like, oh, we can just use this one person and fill that, and then the rest can be Caucasian, or you'll have seen it a lot, and you'll have seen me talk about it on Twitter if any of you have seen, like, so disappointing. It should be fair to everybody to be involved, and being tokenized is disheartening because it devalues your work, and you get burnt out, and you feel I'm worth anything in this space. But then you remember that you kind of you got it. Yeah, I think that's it from me. I mean, there's a lot more, but I don't want to get shouted at from the staff. So
Go for it. Let it all
be
out.
tokenized.
Or me coming after you.
I think one of the challenges is you come out all the time, and I think anybody who is queer, they'll attest to this as well. Like, you don't come out once. You come out every single time you meet somebody, every time you start a new job, every time your brother introduces a girlfriend. You know, it's like you are coming out all the time. So, and it's the same when it comes to streaming as well. You've got the tags, which I think is a great idea, and it's like you're not thinking, oh, a person you're going to get a good friendship with in your chat, and then a few weeks later they find out you're gay, and you go, oh. No, I'm going to go and find someone else, which has happened before a few times, but no loss. So, I mean, yeah, that is one of them. I mean, obviously, the most obvious one is hate raids and just having abuse. And yeah, I've been part of the Twitch UK and Ireland Pride Month, and yeah, just every day, every time I streamed, there's been about 3 or 4 people popping in. I'm like, oh, that's a new slur. I've never heard of that joke before. Yeah, so. I'm like, yeah.
Shout out to the mods as well for during that time.
Yes.
They
Mod
held
love.
it together.
There they are. They're over there.
The one mod.
Yes.
Do you know what? So interestingly, how we were really positive about being able to find yourself streaming. However, I think this is even quite more personal. So although I've been able to quite find myself through streaming, and very quite proud and that on stream, taking it off stream. So once the stream is offline, it gets real techie. It gets real techie. And even just trying to come out to family, and you get hit with the, I wanted grandkids and I'm not telling the fam. I was like, okay. So nothing about my joy or my happiness. So I think a big challenge is that although you feel, yes, you've curated your own space to be yourself, once that screen is offline, that kind of stops sometimes. So yeah, that's a techie one.
Yeah.
This is kind of the coming out story every time I walk into a place. I mean, I'm always wearing a boot, I'm always wearing a heel, so the attention's already on me to begin with. So,
This energy.
Rightly so.
Right.
but then it's like a double-edged sword, because as much as I love being glam and everything else, it's like the second I open my mouth, it's like, okay, that's a trans girl, and it's common with Twitch as well, but it doesn't really faze me in any way, because typically I don't give people enough time to stay around. It's like you kind of put something in a questioning way, I just say to my mods, it's a job. So it's easily dealt with. It's just not fun to constantly deal with, but I have enough auto mod settings to kind of have to maneuver, and when it slips through, I'm always like, okay, you got me there, girl. So I enjoy when they slither through the cracks, if they have fun with it at least.
If they're having fun.
All right, well, on that kind of topic, we're going to talk about protecting yourself from targeted hate. One of the things that has come up time and time again is hate raids, and also just kind of off the beat of hate raids, there's also just general trolling that a lot of people will experience. So what things do you personally do to make your community a welcoming and positive space, and a safe space?
I don't.
No.
I don't.
I've been victimized so often in your chat.
Seen it all.
It's the
Anybody that
Wild
comes
West
in,
out there.
You stay there, you sit in silence, and I'm going to play this game and you're going to watch.
Yeah.
For $3.99 a month.
We should go through the viewer list, call them all out, and welcome them. I think also someone brought it up earlier, but having mods who make people feel welcome. If someone's new that's popping in, if they get 2 or 3 people in the chat and it's the mod saying, hey, welcome, it's immediately you know that that's going to be a welcoming place. So I think that really, and obviously mod's there to eliminate any negativity or any hate as soon as that pops up. But yeah, I think mods are, I think if you do have a regular mod, you are very lucky.
Yes.
Because not everybody does have
just
that.
want to fight.
Oh, I'm the same as well. I'm getting evils from mine every time I mention the word mod.
Cute conversation for all of 5 minutes.
Mine bully me so that the trolls have nothing on me because my mods bully me more than they do.
They build us up. They have to get us ready. That's what the sword and shield is for. They're like, no, we're beating you. So you
No,
hold
don't
her
press
down.
that shield button ever. Panic. Thought I was being hate raided. If you've ever pressed that shield button, it's the worst thing
accidentally, and it's like everything just shuts down, and you're just like, their
Don't
Pikachu
do it.
face, like, what's just happened to you?
My favorite was when you accidentally press the shield button. It just kind of
mean-
ruins
It's
your
got like
chat.
an icon next to it, like a little pink thing.
The
saying,
shield
"This
mode is
new."
a really, really great feature, but the amount of times I have accidentally enabled shield mode and blocked everything.
There goes the conversation.
They've actually just
Let's talk
announced a new
about
bit
this now.
to shield mode, apparently.
Really?
Yeah,
Did
apparently
they?
Twitch alerts now are integrated in shield
Oh,
mode.
interesting.
So,
That's cool. That's cool.
yeah.
Anyone else
It's
got
good.
any tidbits to?
I like the pronouns extension. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah.
I need Twitch, it needs to be integrated into the mainframe because
Yes.
what is this? We don't need an extension for that. We need it to be a part of the thing. So I like being able to ensure that, we're getting people's pronouns right, I think, again, like you're saying, everyone wants to feel seen, wants to be able to be their truest self. And actually, pronouns do help with that. So I think being able to express that with the extension is a really great way so that you do not, miss. My brain's gone to sleep.
Girl, same.
What is it when you oh my God, my brain's gone to sleep. I don't want to give you the wrong pronoun. Now, you know what I mean. I
She's
don't
blue screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pronouns extension is it's also really useful as well for the streamer because you've got somebody with the name that's like a bunch of letters and numbers. You don't know what pronouns they use, so it just makes it a lot easier when if you're talking to them or you're mentioning what someone has said. It just makes your life easier.
Yeah, Twitch, if you're listening, we wouldn't like to use them as tags. Can you just actually make it happen?
Yes.
Yeah,
please.
pronouns built in would be fantastic.
Yes, please.
Shout out to pronouns extension.
Someone post it in the chat. Yeah.
If you're not using it, by the way, definitely get it enabled. It is really useful being able to just see the pronouns next to somebody's name in chat. Fantastic. Super
Especially if you use a chat box on screen, just
Yes.
replace the chat box with the one that has the pronoun extension built in.
Definitely. All right. So, can you share some tips for streamers who want to protect themselves and their communities from targeted hate and trolling? Even just one tip each would be really great.
It's boring, but shield mode. having a button that you can very quickly press as soon as something like that happens.
If you have a Stream Deck or an Elgato Stream Deck, and you can also use it on your phone too, you can actually just set up it key binded, so where if anything starts to pop off, you can set up like an action, and when you press it, it will literally followers on or followers only mode or sub only mode, wipe the chat, and it will just literally shut everything down to where it's like it never happened. So I think there's some tutorials out there, but if you want one, I got you.
I can't remember whose stream I was in. I feel really guilty that I can't remember who it was I was talking to, but they've got a thing where if somebody's hate raiding, all their chat just posts loads of positivity and joy and
I
hype,
love
and I'm like,
that.
that's such a great idea.
I really like
That's
that.
very
Yeah.
cute, actually.
That's cute. That's really cute.
Definitely. Anyone got any other tips they'd like to share?
Just don't stream. Just stop.
Turn your cam off.
Nah, this
on
this
this
ain't
panel.
for me. It's been lovely going home now. I would say don't be afraid to reach out to other queer streamers to discuss how you can protect yourself. I know this is the really obvious thing to do, but to people that have been hate raided and things like that before, see what they've got it set up. Like I asked Psyche the other week about their moderation settings because I was like, something just ain't right. Ask people what it is they're doing to protect themselves, just to make it easier on yourself. And don't be afraid about taking breaks and time off to just spend the day and just investigate all this stuff so you have less to worry about. It'll save you I don't mind. People can try. I've seen it all. I'm 36. I'm tired. But, I've not got time for it anymore. You can try and spout it. It gets caught. Pink is on fire. Or Tommy's boop, done.
Yeah, if you're worried, you said reach out to people, reach out to streamers. We're in the post-lockdown slump now, so I think streamers are enjoying the attention. So if you do go and chat to them and say, hey, can you give me some tips? They've got all the free time now.
Well, I would charge.
I'm free.
It's a consultation.
Cheap.
I'd also like to add
I'm a cheat
that you should maybe have a great relationship with your mod team
Yeah.
as well, and should be kiki with them on the regular.
I love that. You're great. I'm keeping you around.
Thank you. And just generally keeping a space where you're actually friendly with them, and they're not just there to attend your stream and that's it. Like, you should be friendly with your mods. They should know your chemistry. They should kind of read your face when, you know, you don't like a comment to begin with. So I think, you know, when there's a hate raid, they know to dig through the user list. They know to pick out certain people that they know aren't usually in that space. So just little things like that.
Yeah. If I could give one piece of advice as well, I would say, I heard you, did you sigh?
No, I did sigh a bit, but yeah. You're not breaking any stereotypes of drag queen.
She can't be stealthy.
No.
What I find really
I was
funny
looking-
is that she's late and she still looks like this.
I run through the streets of Paris in heat. This is important for me. I thought it'd be 12:30, and it is 12:30, right? 32 past, right? I'm calling
It's
it.
12:30 on the dot.
It
Oh my
is.
God.
So good.
Only 31 minutes late.
Donna, would you like to introduce yourself?
Had a problem. Hi. Sorry, what you say?
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, hi. I'm Ready Set Ben. Hi, I'm Donut Tart. I'm a drag artist who's always on time. I guess I'm kind of known for baking and bits like that, and I hosted the drag showcase last year, not this year because they fired me. But yeah, hi. How are things? What I miss?
Nothing, it's fine. It's not
Yeah, no. Nothing important.
I completely forgot what I was going to say as a piece of advice. Oh, yeah, my brain blue screen. I would say don't be afraid to set boundaries and set them early, because it's something I did. I've always been out on Twitch, but I didn't set boundaries firmly enough early on, and then it's always harder to walk it back than it would have been if I'd set the rules and the boundaries earlier. So don't be afraid to do that, and don't be afraid to enforce those boundaries. And have mods who'll back you up on that. And that is probably the biggest thing that would have helped me, certainly, when I started. All right.
I think like banning people as well, if you just, the vibe isn't
Yes.
right. They don't actually done anything. They've not attacked you or something, but if you just like, this vibe is not right.
Yep.
Literally
100%.
vibe check everybody.
Vibe check. Don't
Vibe
be
check.
afraid.
Yeah.
Please do not feel away, even if someone's been a part of your community for a long time.
Yes.
If they do something that does not pass the vibe check them. If they double down, they're gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do not feel no way.
Get
I
in
don't
the
care
bin.
how long they've subbed, how much they've donated. It does not matter, because this is your space.
Yeah.
And it's a space you curated, and you won't tolerate. I'm not going to sort anything out. You ain't going to tolerate that.
Drop names, do it.
Yeah.
It's always difficult. Like, it's never going to be easy, but it is worth it,
Yeah.
100%.
And if you do something that the streamer then calls you out for, use it as a learning experience. Don't just immediately attack back, because then you'll just get banned and then you look like an idiot. So, yeah, don't. If somebody does say, hey, this is not right, this doesn't, you know, I don't like what you've said, okay, you learn.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So on that topic, how can non-LGBTQIA plus streamers be good allies? Because I know there's a few of you in the audience, so this is the opportunity for us to kind of share some ideas. Yeah, I remembered.
Money. Y'all were waiting for me to say that. No, I think this is the question I'm going to answer. I think it's a good idea to educate yourself. It's all well and good that you accept as an ally us as queer folk, but it doesn't end there. You literally have to walk with us. You have to learn from our experiences and learn from everybody's experiences. It's not just, I have a gay friend, ally. It's more than that. It's a lot more than that. You go through everything that we go through, our traumas, our highs and lows, the bullying, everything. Learn from us, or at least take the time to educate yourself. I did a sentence.
I think making your space a safe space for everyone. Like, I think you shouldn't just have to identify as an LGBTQIA person to have to, for the space to be space. I mean, space to be safe.
It made sense to me.
It did make sense, didn't it? Let's just roll with that. I think curating safe spaces as an ally is one, like having zero tolerance for anything, any phobias, bigotry, none of it should go down, and those who identify as such should be able to pull up and know that they're not going to face abuse, even though they're not in someone who identifies as LGBTQ. I don't know if that makes sense, but just like making sure that whatever you're doing as a non-LGBTQIA person aligns with those who are, so that they don't feel like they have to put their guard up or they have to come super reinforced to be able to be in your space. They should be able to just show up as themselves, as they do in their own space.
I agree, like walking the walk, and just like the most simple thing, just pop it in your rules as well when you start. If I go into someone's channel, and the first thing I do when I'm about to chat pops up with the rules, and it says, no racism, no homophobia, no transphobia. I'm like, okay, they've literally like focused, that is one of their rules. They've mentioned homophobia, they've mentioned transphobia. I'm like, okay, I know this person is probably going to be decent. If it's just a rule that says, don't be a, I don't think I'm allowed to swear. Yeah, you know what I mean. Don't be a, then it's like, well, yeah, that's not really immediately trying to say, no, this is not welcome.
Yeah.
Be
specific.
Yes.
It really helps. I know that if I'm rating a stream, the first thing I check is, do they have rules? Because if I don't know them, I want to know what their space is. I want to know it's safe for the people in my community. So like having those rules in place and those guidelines for your community is really helpful, because it means people can feel safe there. And streamers might rage you because they're like, oh yeah, that person's going to vibe with my community. That works.
Also, make sure you actually do it.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have the rules, and then when someone drops a bomb in the chat, you're like, oh,
Crickets.
Rules out for the streamer, just for the community.
yeah.
And we do notice as viewers as well, because like the one thing, so I'm going to take your microphone, thank you, sorry, hope you don't mind. The one thing that I always say is that if you want to be a true ally, you have to kind of sacrifice your comfort, and not in saying sit on the floor, unless you want to give me your chair. I always say that like when it comes to, if it makes you slightly uncomfortable to maybe call out a viewer who said something that's a little bit off topic, or a little bit off that might, upset other viewers, at the end of the day, if you're not able to kind of make yourself slightly uncomfortable to deal with that, then, this is a weird way of saying it, but I always say if you're willing to make yourself slightly uncomfortable to make other people comfortable, I always say that's kind of like a good way to know you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying to like, this could be interpreted the wrong way. Long story short, if you're willing to call people out, then you are doing the work, Yeah. It's very easy to ignore. Even as LGBTQ+ streamers, we also could easily ignore things, but people do notice, especially long-time viewers who feel comfortable in your space and suddenly see you're not there to kind of back them up after they've subbed to you for 10 years,
Because it can be a vibe kill if you're having a great time and then someone posts something and you're then calling them out. It can completely kill the vibe of your stream, but I have done that before, and people have messaged me afterwards and said, I appreciated what you did there. So, yeah, can kill the vibe, but just do something daft 5 minutes later and it'll be all back to normal.
I'd much rather kill the vibe than it.
Yeah. Love killing a vibe.
I'd like to quickly add on to the education theme and mention that you do need to know the names of the people who gave us our rights to begin with. You need to know about the Marsha P. Johnsons, the Harvey Mills, the Sylvia Riveras. You need to know about Black Ballroom, and just POC in general, and the whole Stonewall movement, and the movements that were happening just before Stonewall as well. Predominantly the 80s and 90s AIDS movement and what was going on during that. I think you need to know your history before you even try to go ahead and try to like defend us on a massive platform and not know what you're talking about.
Yeah, education is super important, and it's really important that you do the work to try and kind of educate yourself. There's only so much that you can learn from individual queer people. You will probably have to do a little bit of reading yourself, and some of it might take some time, but you're on the right track, like Donna was saying. As long as you're willing to kind of step outside that, you know that you're going in the right direction. All right, fab. So this panel is brought to you by NYX Professional Makeup. So they have a question to share. They are aiming to bring awareness to anti-LGBTQIA+ bullying through their online Game Out Loud campaign. Do you, panelists, think that the issue is being discussed enough among the community, the issue being online bullying in the gaming space specifically?
It's too much talking. There's too much talking going on. Yeah, it's being talked about, but what is actually being done? Like I said, I'm not going to hold you. This might be my last panel because I said I can't do any more of this talking. Like, talking is fun. Talking is fine. When you get to vibe with people that you love, cool. But if the work is not actually being done to actually counter what the issue is, then talking is so pointless. So, sure, yeah, it's being discussed.
Yeah.
But there is still so much work to do. There's still so much money that needs to be put into organizations that are doing the work. There's still so much support that big brands like Nix, shout out to Nix, who are like doing loads with supporting creators and creatives and actually like establishments who are doing the work to make the space a lot safer and better for those in the LGBTQIA community. So yeah, it's been talked about, but enough has been done.
Yeah. Actions. We need to see more
Yeah.
actions.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yes.
Anyone else got something they'd like to add to that?
I mean, Danny just killed it, to be fair.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't follow that.
Bring your money.
But no, I think I definitely agree, and I think
Yeah.
I don't know if other people think it as well, but this Pride Month has been like one of the worst in recent memory when it comes to abuse and bullying. And I don't know if that's just because I've been on Twitter and seen it, and that's pretty much where it's just amplified even more this year than last. But yeah, it does seem to be getting worse and worse, and it's where is the action?
A really important thing also to note is that the current climate in the world, there is a lot more hate towards LGBTQIA plus people. It is getting worse, and that means that we see a lot of brands taking the safer route of not supporting people openly and making, while I agree that we shouldn't be tokenized, at the same time, making a statement and being willing to be loud about it is so appreciated because it's especially needed now, and I do feel like it was pretty quiet this year.
Yeah, they need to back it up, and the ones that did back it up, they did get a lot of hate, and especially this year as well. I think if you've got an anti-homophobic or a pro-LGBTQIA plus community, if you don't remember the T in there, it's not a safe space.
Yes, 100%.
At all.
Thank you. All right. Let's talk about the importance of online communities and representation. It kind of ties into what we were talking about, especially because of the fact that the current climate in the world is so hostile. So, do you think it is important to discuss the issues we as LGBTQI plus creators face during our streams, and how do you balance that with the importance of also providing an escape for everybody who's constantly being bombarded with negative news?
Who wants to go first?
Loaded.
Sorry, it's a very wordy question. I apologize.
Yeah.
I like the process.
That's
It's like why should we not have the no politics tag? That's pretty much what it's from.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, 100% important to discuss the issues. I think, especially if it happens in the moment as well. Like you said, calling it out in the moment, it might kill the vibe, but it's still really important to just talk about what's happened and why it's okay, why it's not okay that it's happened, and then still being able to obviously continue with what you need with the stream. And I think balance it. So that is a tricky one because obviously sometimes like news also happens like whilst you're streaming.
Yeah.
And that one is, I think, one of the techiest ones when like something like really dire happens, and then you're like really like Pride walking down Animal Crossing Lane, and then it's like, and it's like, yeah, such and such has happened, and then you're just like, oh shit, okay, that's really horrible. What we can do after stream, let's catch up in Discord. Let's spend some time in Discord afterwards if you guys feel like you need to kind of talk more about it, because this is a really quite sensitive topic, can be quite triggering. So actually utilizing spaces like Discord to have a bit of a forum to voice how that's made you feel, and obviously emphasizing the fact that it is important to you, but maybe in this moment, you're obviously not equipped to talk about it. And I think being transparent about you also needing time to process that information and news and feelings, because you do need that time, and maybe talking about it in the moment isn't the best way for you to get also your views across, because then, you're scattered. You need to be able to take that time to process. So I think there's balance in saying this is really horrible. Let's talk about it later where we actually have had time to process it, and I've had time to process it, and just having that transparency with your community.
Kind of feel like a lot of it latches.
That's good. I'm learning here today.
When a lot of queer trauma does happen, it's really hard not to get wrapped up into it, because part of the Rainbow Arcade, we like to think of ourselves as advocates for not everybody, but we're doing our best to make sure it should be relatively peaceful. You should be able to enjoy your time on Twitch. I remember when, I don't feel like it ever stops, but I remember getting so wrapped up into it. When I was on stream, I'll just rant, and then I'll apologize, and I'll click off stream, and I was like, well, I've just ruined somebody's day there.
Yeah.
Is there a more constructive way I could have had a conversation with everybody rather than just listening to me talking about this particular topic? I think it's a constant learning experience. It's always a learning experience because you're never going to get it right. But I think having the conversations with online communities is incredibly important. There's never going to be a right way of doing it or a right time because it always does happen in the moment. It's how you handle it.
Absolutely. We do actually have more to talk about, but I am very conscious of the fact that we're getting towards the end of our time, so I want to make sure that there's some time for audience questions. So I'm just going to skip through a little bit. There are some friendly reminders on the screen. If you're going to ask a question, please make sure that it is related to the topic. Keep it short and to the point. Do not request anything personal from the panelists, for example, photos or high fives or hugs or giving gifts, unfortunately. Please ask only one question and be kind, considerate, and respectful to the panelists and the attendees. So if anyone has any questions, we have one over here. Hi.
Hi, thank you all for the presentation. Fantastic, I love you all. I'm Golkara, and I wanted to ask, I see a lot of negativity online, like in comments, on posts, and troll stuff all the time, that I want to step in and like say stuff, but I find it difficult sometimes because my mental health, I don't know if I can take all this negativity. I know a lot of you are like active on social media and like speaking out against that stuff. So how do you balance speaking out against a lot of hate whilst also focusing on not getting too deep in the hate, if you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's a good point, because I looked at the Twitch Instagram post about Pride Month and was just, what the heck is this? Yeah, and I just had to stop looking, and I just made a post on Twitter saying, yeah, just letting out, just venting. But like, it's a real mess on there. I don't know how other people do it, but I don't. I mean, I sometimes look at it, and then after half an hour, I've realized I'm feeling really depressed with the world, and then
I think
go outside.
One thing that someone told me once that I've taken on board is that you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you are drained, you're not going to be able to actually go in there and say anything without making it worse for yourself. And that's why you rely on like communities of people, because when you're empty, someone else might be able to step in and stand up. It doesn't always have to be you, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
It's having those communities and working together is really, really important.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have
I
anything?
agree. That I was going to say, don't protect you first. You have to obviously think about yourself first. And also pick your battles. So like Ben was saying, if that post has got thousands of comments of just nonsense, you don't have to put yourself in that situation to then receive like more hate.
Yeah.
Like you have to, one, protect yourself and protect your mental health. You don't have to be the superhero for every comment. And also, if you do feel like you want to say something, then you can make your own post calling out what the issue was or what you've seen. Even sometimes taking a screenshot of what it was, because sometimes you don't want to give them the impressions. Don't let them get them impressions.
Absolutely.
So that it gets boosted. But yeah, you can take a screenshot or just say, I saw this tweet or I saw this message, and then you can set it to where no one else can reply to it. So it's still like you expressing how negative and how bad it is, but not necessarily putting yourself into just an onslaught of hate and then putting your mental health at jeopardy. You can just put it out in the world, call it out, turn it off to where people who are likely to comment on it don't have access to it, because that's your space.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, do you?
No, it's okay. I just got here. Hi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to quickly say as well, because we were kind of on the topic earlier, I want to say for brands especially who like to do a lot of work around pride and things like that, we appreciate it, but one thing I always say is if you're willing to tag someone who is likely to end up with thousands and thousands of hate and direct hate because of being tagged, be willing to take action on that.
Ooh, I know what you're talking about.
Moderate those comments.
Facebook, Instagram, all those god-awful places that have just have swamps of the worst things I've ever read. And I'm like, are you going to do anything? I'm fine with this. I can take this off. They can't. But the brands, you know, when they can say something and post something, but then don't take any further action, and we see it in Twitch chats as well, it's like, it's really transparent. It's the same as when a brand will pull out the moment they get a lick of heat. It's like we see it and we share. We're like we're all connected.
Hive mind.
Queer brain.
Queer connection.
Yeah, same antenna.
Yeah, we know.
Do we have another question?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you guys for being here. And so I work in an advertising agency, and so we study target audiences all day. And when we looked at Gen Z gamers specifically, two really interesting stats stood out, which is the first one is that 52% of Gen Z gamers feel more like themselves in online spaces, and 45% of them say that they feel that their online identity is a truer representation of themselves. Well, I think this is great because obviously it shows how people are finding ways to express themselves in online communities. But do you think this creates maybe problems of disconnection from the real life? So you feel better, more like yourself in an online community then? Could that, create problems in real life?
That's a good question.
That's a real psychology. Right.
Yeah.
I'm in my psychology bag right now. So it's interesting you say that because obviously, like, if people have avatars, like obviously they can create an avatar based on however they're feeling in that moment. So if they want the avatar to have like purple skin and wings and horns and whatever, then that's how they feel in that moment. So it can get tricky if they can only feel like they can present themselves in the world that they've curated. So what I guess needs to happen more is curating safe spaces in the outside world.
Yeah.
Because obviously they feel that they are more themselves in an online community because that's the space that's been nurtured for that to happen. So in order for them to feel like themselves IRL, the IRL spaces need to be nurtured and curated in order for them to feel like themselves. So we have a long way to go. So unfortunately, the VR headsets are coming in.
I kind of personally feel like because of like the latter portion, I felt like I became the person I am today because of being online.
Yeah.
So like I was relatively quiet, like bedroom gremlin playing Final Fantasy 11 as a kid, and then I started streaming, and I was like, oh wow, I'm actually quite sassy. Not necessarily cool, but I'm sassy. I'm definitely not Gen Z. But when I started to figure out who I was, and my own little jokes, I say that I'm a Vine kid as well. Actually, most of my humor is not my own; it's stolen from other people. But I feel like because of my online communities and whatnot, I was able to become this mess that you see before you today.
Millennial mess.
Same. No, same. So I think it's either or. So in one way, it can allow you to explore yourself that you can then project that self to the real world. Or, again, if you can't project that self to the real world, then you do kind of have that balance of just finding yourself or not really expressing it.
Sorry to completely cut you
you
off
can
and suck all the oxygen out. One thing that I've noticed, especially around drag and things like that and Twitch communities, is that this right now is probably illegal in 99% of the world and some parts of America as well. And it's just not even illegal, but just like not safe. It is not safe to be running up the streets of other hot cities. But it's one thing that I've noticed, especially with Twitch, is that people kind of have that escape, and because it is so accessible, it means that a lot of these people in places around the world that they cannot be themselves legally, with family, anything, they can tap into these safe spaces and express themselves. So although sometimes it may not translate to their real life, at least they have a space to find other people without having to be, and I always say this, being in clubs, in bars, around substances, around things like that, it's kind of a safe space for people to just express themselves no matter where in the world they are. So that's what I adore, people who are able to find their community in online RPGs, which, by the way, gay as hell.
Yeah.
Gay as hell.
Period.
But it's great. I love it.
We love to see it. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, we have another question.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So my name is Lontra. I'm from Brazil and Portugal. I want to ask you, so Twitch now has some features and mechanics that can help people, even streamers and viewers, to find LGBTQIA.
It's hard.
Almost. Got it.
Plus, streamers, I would say now maybe like tags is a feature that it can help, even though that tags changed a bit, and now each letter can have a different tags, and the feature changed. And some streamers also use Twitch teams to join the community. Would you have any other idea that Twitch could create a feature or a mechanic or events that could help viewers and streamers find new streamers from the community?
Great question. Thank you.
I like that. I mean, a few of us are in Pride Month this month, and I think better visibility through that would have been better. I mean, I was part of it. It was great. They featured me in their shelf, but I don't know if anybody else saw any difference.
I thought, so I've looked at the stats, and you can kind of see how many people came from the recommendation shelf. I didn't really feel a huge amount of growth from it, so I'd like to see more kind of. Yeah, because I believe the way like those kind of recommendation shelves work is like algorithmic, but it'd be really interesting to see some other improvements, especially during like Pride Month and beyond. Though, to be fair,
I think like Twitch partnering with certain communities for minorities, and like permanently having a space on the main carousel for these to highlight them, I think would be a cool opportunity.
I think just based on like people's, what I would love to see personally is based on your own sort of algorithm, the people that you do watch. I don't want to see people playing games that I don't necessarily like. So why is it being shown to me? Like, I don't need to see people's hype trains. What I want to see is queer people, you know, based on, say, if I've watched you one day, or I've watched a couple of DVD streamers, or whatever, or drag artists. That should be my curated page based on an algorithm.
You see the TikTok one, and you're like,
I don't need to see
can't
the
they do
same 5 offline channels on the carousel as well. Just throw someone up there, because it's obviously empty.
You see the algorithm on your TikTok, and you're like, how do they know me so well?
They know me too well.
Too well, yeah.
Too well.
Yeah.
Disturbingly well.
It's a bit scarily well, yeah.
All right. I thank you very much for your question. And we do have very little time left, so I want to try and get the other questions as well. So over here. Thank you.
I don't even know if I answered your question. I'm so sorry.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Yorha,
I know you.
in the US.
Hi.
And I guess my question is, what are some queer highlights of your streams?
Go for it.
And I came here late, so I'm not sure if that was like covered.
It was a little bit, but we could.
Only a little bit, so it's fine.
There was another answer I was going to put, which I didn't put, which...
Me.
Yeah.
Queer highlights, I guess. You know, there was it's because I don't know. It's weird to say what specifically is when you kind of make the space just queer friendly anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut up because I
think the cute moment when somebody tells you, or takes the time to tell you that they've been a long time lurker, but they really appreciate you for what you do in stream, and you don't expect it. That's just those random little comments make your day. And I, like I said before, it's completely cliche doing it, but not every stream's going to be queer joy, but it'd be nice, and it feels like it a lot of the time when you get to share experiences.
Oh, when we find a game that's like super queer friendly and like you didn't expect it. Oh my god, like unpacking.
I was going to say.
Oh my god.
Yes. Oh.
Like I started sobbing when we got to the I was like, oh,
If you haven't played Unpacking, play it.
You need to not.
Yeah, no, say if you haven't,
Choosing
you
it.
should definitely.
Absolutely play it.
Yes, so yes, when you find a game that's just it's not focused on being queer, but then it just like throws elements of queerness in, and you're just like,
The chat loses it.
yes, we all lose it, and it's that's definitely my queer joy.
I think like you mentioned, sometimes getting like a message here or there of something that you might not kind of consider making your space, comfortable and nice. I've had messages of people being like, I was in the stream the other day, either something was addressed or you just made this feel so comfortable. Because it is an escape for someone for 1 to 2, 4, however long you stream for. Sorry, that was really rude. But one thing that kind of was like a turning point for me was that for a long time I thought with drag on Twitch, it was just bring the wigs, bring the makeup, that's it. People don't care what you're doing as long as you're in drag and you're playing a game, and that's it. And it took me a couple of months of streaming it for a while to kind of realize that people were using it for kind of an escape. And I was streaming Christmas Day at like 1 a.m. because I just happened to be at home. And the amount of people who were there because they couldn't be at home. That was like a huge turning point for me. It made me realize this is more than just playing a game to a couple people. This is why when people say, why is this important? Why is the pride important? Why are you putting this filth on the front page? Me. Things like that. It's the escape. It's the being able to tap into someone's phone and be able to go straight to someone who will see you for you.
Why have you text back? You're live right now. How dare you?
I'm really sorry that we are running out of time. I won't have time to ask the questions from you. I am so sorry, but I just want to say thank you to everybody for taking the time. If we have time afterwards, maybe we can catch up if you have questions. I would like to say thank you to all the panelists here. Can I just hear a round of applause for them, please?
Boo.
Thank you all so very, very much for joining us for this panel. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great TwitchCon.
Thank you.